So right when it seemed like things were picking back up for the crypto market, once again, we got another dump. Ethereum actually started to outperform Bitcoin ever so slightly. And what does Bitcoin do to repay us? Dump. Now, this isn't necessarily crypto focused, and in today's video, we'll be going over exactly what happens to the crypto market and a shift in paradigm that I think is currently happening as it pertains to not just Bitcoin, but Ethereum and Solana. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Let's jump right into the video. First, let's address the bullish Bitcoin pennant that is currently on the charts. As we can see, we did a couple of successful retests here, and now it's looking like we're preparing ourselves to go higher up to $115,000, which is still well within my predictions. But what we got yesterday was not pretty. We just made our 7th attempt of trying to break $106,000 and trying to hold it as support on the daily. As you can see, we wicked right to it and came crashing down all the way below the 102.5K level, which is another crucial level for Bitcoin. Now, if you zoom out, this is all just consolidation. And if we really zoom out here, we can see that we indeed had our highest monthly close ever in Bitcoin's history, closing right around 102.5K. This is why I always tell you to zoom out and look at the bigger picture, because it can be very easy to get caught up within the small movements of the markets. Now, of course, we try to take advantage of these small market movements and trade them, but if you're just an investor, zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Highest monthly close ever. That is very bullish for Bitcoin. Now, one of the more important things that I wanted to address in this video is Ethereum's relative performance compared to Bitcoin. We've touched on this chart several times on this channel, but I just want to show you, if I zoom into a shorter time frame here, we can see that we are in fact bouncing right at around the 0.03 level, which is a major level for Ethereum against Bitcoin. Now, only time will tell if this bounce can be sustained and it will drive Ethereum further. But right as we saw yesterday, Ethereum was finally outperforming Bitcoin until the market tanked. And why did the market tank from 105K all the way down to below 102K? Well, it's to do with the fact that President Trump announced a 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico, and I believe he also talked about a 10% one on China, effective today, February 1st. Now, it's interesting to observe that the markets didn't take this positively because he's been talking about tariffs for a very long time, and all of a sudden, now that they're in effect, the market tanked. That being said, Bitcoin is still holding some pretty crucial levels here, and the only time that I would actually start getting worried and potentially start favoring shorts in the market would be hitting below $100,000. Now, you may think this is crazy, but 100K has started to hold up very well, and so if we are to breach that level, I think we could see some significant gains on a short from 100K back down to the range lows, closer to the low 90K levels. Now, don't worry yet, because Bitcoin is still hovering over $100,000, which is still pretty bullish, but I always look for potential trading opportunities in this volatile market. And so if we were to go below that 100K support, I would definitely take a little trade there. Until then, this pattern is still very much intact, and my target is still $115,000. Now, it's the same story. Despite Bitcoin being over $100,000, Bitcoin dominance continues to go up and altcoins continue to struggle. Now, this last weekly candle over here was actually red as of yesterday until the market nuked, and then altcoins saw some severe underperformance against Bitcoin. It could have potentially been a turnaround for Bitcoin dominance as we tap back into this wedge and potentially come straight down from there, but I'm going to go with my original thesis on us making a new high for Bitcoin dominance, or at least making a double top around the 61.5% mark, which is where we topped out back in November 2024. So if you're looking to make any of the potential trades that I talk about on this channel, you can do so by signing up to Weeks, which is one of the top crypto exchanges in the industry. With my link, you can earn a $20,000 bonus, as we can see right here, and you also get a 50% reduction on all your trading fees with my link and my link alone. Make sure to sign up down below. But looking at ETH, yes, we did get a bounce on the Bitcoin pair, but it's looking like we might be coming back down for a retest. As I said, only time will tell, and no one can really say when Ethereum will finally start outperforming Bitcoin. But I did mention on the channel here that 0.03 for ETH against Bitcoin is a relatively attractive level. So if you're not a trader, this is still a nice level to be accumulating some ETH, especially if you're using some of your Bitcoin to do so, because as I've been talking about on the channel, it is fully within my expectation that Ethereum will be outperforming Bitcoin this year. But something that I really want to talk about here is Solana compared to Ethereum. Now, we have seen some crazy outperformance from Solana all the way up to this 0.078 level. And I don't know how much higher it can really go. I think that we will likely see a retest and Solana will slowly start to bleed against Ethereum. Now, this is not just from a technical perspective, but also because of this. We are now about to see the biggest Solana unlocks incoming over the next few months. As we can see in February, over 3.2 million Solana will get unlocked. In March, just under 10 million, and then in April, 2.7 million. So this could cause a lot of selling pressure for Solana, which is why I'm expecting Ethereum to start outperforming Solana ever so slightly as these unlocks continue and as more Solana gets dumped onto the market. Also, we have to look at some of the fundamentals. As we know, World Liberty Financial have been accumulating Ethereum like madmen, and they honestly haven't really stopped. And it's not just World Liberty, but it's also BlackRock. As we can see here, they accumulated 17,261 Ethereum, valued at around $56 million. So all of the big players are continuing to accumulate Ethereum. Now, I made a video last week highlighting some relatively less risky altcoins, and that was essentially all the altcoins that World Liberty Financial and BlackRock have been accumulating. Because if you think that these guys are betting on these tokens and we won't see some upside, you're dead wrong. These guys are in it to make money. Yes, they're there for the innovation, but overall, we can't forget that the main purpose here is to make money. Something else to bring up in this video, which I think is very important as it pertains specifically to Bitcoin, is that there is a ton of liquidity above here all the way up to the 107.3K level. Now, this would be very important to cross because, as I've been talking about, 106K has proven to be a very difficult level for Bitcoin to cross and hold as support. So if we are to soon grab all of this liquidity above here, it would be very bullish, and hopefully that 106K retest is successful before we can move on higher to my target around $115,000. And something that I need to address here is that it's really been a trader's market. We've seen some altcoins outperform and maybe do 5 to 10x's, but then over the course of just 2 weeks, they crash right back down to entry. It's not really favoring a holder's market, which previous bull markets have been favoring. And so this is why you'll notice that I've also actively been encouraging you to trade the majors like Bitcoin and Ethereum, because I see a lot more profit in trading those rather than holding select altcoins. Now, don't get me wrong, I have my altcoin allocation and 80% of my bag is in spot. I hold a sizable Bitcoin position, and I still believe that a lot of you should do that because over the long term, as we know, altcoins are oscillators at best against Bitcoin. In this cycle, more than ever, it's been very apparent that Bitcoin gives you the gains while minimizing your downside risk, and it also removes stress. I was actually talking to a pretty notable business owner today, and we were having the discussion about speculating on altcoins, meme coins, especially Solana meme coins. And honestly, because he's running several businesses, it makes more sense for him to have his capital allocated in Bitcoin. If he wants to take a couple trades here and there, more longer time frame trades, then that would be also fine, which is why I recommend two things. Taking long-term trades by following the trends so the trades become abundantly more clear, and so you don't have to keep constantly staring at the chart. And two, hold a significant spot position in the majors. This is another reminder. On your path to wealth, you shouldn't have 90% of your portfolio in altcoins. Remember, Bitcoin is king. We can trade Bitcoin, we can make a lot of money with Bitcoin, and then it starts to flow down the market caps. If you're speculating in these low market cap meme coins, as I sometimes do with a tiny fraction of my portfolio because I have the time to do so, then sure, that's fine. But it should never be the entirety of your portfolio because otherwise it's just very likely that you end up getting wrecked. And on the topic of meme coins, if you want a relatively stress-free meme coin play, I have to say the OG Dogecoin is a reasonable coin to be accumulating, particularly with the fact that Grayscale just filed for a Doge ETF with the New York Stock Exchange. Guys, things are heating up. We're getting to the point in the cycle where memes will start to have their own ETFs. Now, this is also a nice narrative that I like with Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. Naturally, this plays well into that role. And as we saw, they even put Doge on the official government website for this department. So if you want a relatively safe meme play, I would be looking at Dogecoin because it stood the test of time, which is something you really want, and it's hard to come by with memes. And I'll give you a very good example of a coin that has not stood the test of time. Now, if you're new to the channel, this is a coin that I talked about a very long time ago, and it was actually one of the best possible plays that I put out on the channel. We called Chill Guy around a $50 million market cap. Now, it went all the way up to just around a $900 million market cap. That was one of the best calls that I've made on the channel, and full transparency, I got a lot of subscribers from that video alone after the call actually played out very well. But this is what I mean about standing the test of time. As we can see, this is right back down to where I called it all the way back in November. Now, I wouldn't even be looking at this coin anymore because we're starting to see the attention rotating so much faster, and then new coins launch, they reach $100 million market cap, and then they crash, and so on and so forth as the cycle repeats. In these current market environments, a lot of the liquidity just keeps on getting shifted around, and so if you don't take profit on any of these great runners, they can easily crash right back down to where we entered and even lower, unfortunately. So this is just a reminder. Make sure that you're always taking profits, especially on the speculative tokens. Now, as it pertains to Doge, for example, I think that this one naturally has a future because one, Elon Musk regularly talks about it and makes reference to it, and two, it's obviously on the government website now. So this is one that stood the test of time, and even though the next bear market for Dogecoin, we can see some significant drawdowns, once again, it will likely stay around for the years to come. Now, if you're looking to make quick plays, that's a different story, and we talk about these things on the channel from time to time. But overall, right now, the best way to actually be making profits in the crypto market would be to actively trade these markets. And like I said, I would highly recommend that you sign up 2 weeks. It's the first link in my description. You get a great bonus to trade, and you can trade the major reliable coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum without necessarily risking your money on meme coins. Now, don't get me wrong. Of course, I will be talking about some meme coins that I see that I think can outperform the market, one of them being Toshi, and in the past, of course, Chill Guy. But you have to remember that if you ever enter these positions, you need to be aggressive in your profit taking as we start to see attention and liquidity shift around the market faster than we've ever seen before in any bull market. And on the continued topic of meme coins, we can see that Ryan Garcia even launched his own meme coin, and it absolutely tanked about 12 hours ago. This is what I mean. Celebrities are starting to launch more and more meme coins, and there has to be an end to this. And unfortunately, I think the end will come with a big collapse in the market at some point, because this is currently what everyone continues to speculate on rather than speculating on high quality projects. For example, like Ethereum, like Chainlink, all of these projects that institutions are actually accumulating at this point. But as per usual, as I always recommend on this channel, zoom out and look at the bigger picture. The net inflows into the US spot ETFs have outweighed the new supply of Bitcoin in 2025, and by a lot. As we can see here, the Bitcoin supply as of 2025 was 12,528, and the net inflows for the Bitcoin spot ETFs, meaning the demand for Bitcoin, 40,265. We're in an interesting market now where Bitcoin just continues to outperform. I still think that Bitcoin dominance will likely go higher before we see that drawdown. So you do need a little bit of patience as it pertains to altcoins. But also, if you're still speculating on meme coins, particularly on Solana, you need to be careful here because, as I mentioned, we have these Solana unlocks coming in the next few months, which will likely push the SOL price downwards. And this is why I think Ethereum will also be outperforming Solana in the coming months. And the last thing to finish this video off with would be looking at the Ethereum monthly return table. We can see that February is usually one of the most bullish months for Ethereum, and I would expect this month to be green. As we can see in all of its history, it literally only had one red February, which was in 2018. So I'm expecting Ethereum to outperform moving forward. But the other positive news here as well is that in February of the post-halving year, Bitcoin also tends to have a very solid month. So if we scroll down February here, we can see that in 2021, Bitcoin went up 49% in February. And then we go back to 2017 in the post-halving year, Bitcoin saw a 24.37% increase. And then if we go all the way back to 2013, Bitcoin went up 56%. Both Bitcoin and Ethereum will likely perform well in February and onwards. However, I would expect Ethereum to be outperforming Bitcoin at this point. And that sums up today's video. We saw Ethereum start to slowly outperform Bitcoin yesterday, but then of course we had that big Bitcoin dump after the news that Trump would impose tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. Now, my view of the market still remains the same. Bitcoin always determines the rest of the crypto market, and for us to see a sustained uptrend here, we really need to break above 106K and hold it as support. I showed you the charts. We are now on our 8th attempt after the 7th attempt of breaking above 106K was unsuccessful. So what I would personally be looking at right now would be 1, trading the price action of Bitcoin, and 2, starting to slowly dollar cost average into Ethereum as I start to expect a little bit more outperformance. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. I'll see you in tomorrow's video.